Hello, beautiful people. This is, beautiful people, money cousins, Icon Nation. I don't know who's watching this, but if you're a beautiful, all of you all are beautiful people. For those of you all who are entrepreneurial, hello, money cousins. And for those of you all who are actually in the community of Icon Nation, hello. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you to life. If you are like, okay, who are you? I am Asa Leveaux, and yes, I said Asa, not Asa, not Asia, not Asa. It is Asa Leveaux, and I am known as the Icon Architect. I catapult audacious entrepreneurs towards their next million by providing brand clarity, business automations, and bankable deliverables with the Icon method. Today, we have a wonderful, joyful, melanated, inspiring, intelligent, educated individual in the building today. I have said often, and I will probably maybe keep saying this, I am not impressed often. I am not. As you know, I have a mother who's getting her doctorate degree. Both my parents were pastors. My family has been in the corporate world and the drug world. So I know people who work at Fortune 500 companies as well as the military. And I know people in my direct line who have been on most wanted posters on train stations in Minneapolis. So therefore, I'm not really impressed. I've seen all this before. However, I am today. And I'm not, and I have been. And so let me give you some feedback, some more information about that. So I am producing the Icon Bootcamp. It's a virtual event. It's no cost just to attend. You go to iconbootcamp.co to register. And I wasn't always going to do this. I wasn't necessarily clear or just desiring fully that Icon Bootcamp was going to be a thing for me to produce and present. And so I asked people to help me. And this individual, this woman has supported me and said yes to helping me make this a reality. I don't believe that you have to do entrepreneurship alone. Even if you are a solopreneur, you don't have to stay siloed in your solo. You just don't. And she reminds me of that because I am someone, because as long as I've been in business, I've been, for one reason or another, in my own little entrepreneurial nest, alone, perched far, far away from community. And she's like, no, people have your back and you need to chill out because people have your back. And I'm okay with that. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Dr. Deena C. Brown to you all. Hello, Dr. Deena.
Hello. So great to be here. You know, I always love conversing with you. It is always enchanting.
Ain't it though? And see, she used words like enchanting, all whimsical. So love that. So first thing, I would love for people to understand how you provide awe and enlightenment to the world through the LeaderShift Institute and maybe even the paradigm on your shift.
Absolutely. So my purpose, the core of why I'm here, there's three things that I came to this earth to do: to inspire, to empower, and to transform. And the way that I do that is that I help leaders be better leaders, period. And I help them get clear about the what, confident about the why, and consistent about the who. That's how you can own your shift. I'm a firm believer that it's not the change and uncertainty that really trips us up. It's the shift that sits underneath it, because we've been changing since conception to do that. So for me, being able to help really get clarity and identify what season am I actually in, because there's definitely a shift in the atmosphere. Do you know what yours is?
Okay, so you're just gonna do that to us? Then everybody's thinking around like, ooh, do I know what mine is?
You know, do you know? And so that's where, and sometimes like we do, and other times we are on that journey to get to that point. And that's where someone strategic like me actually comes into play, is to help you get that clarity by helping you remove the oxidation of life that has really been choking those seeds of your growth, because what's been layered, and that's why I said you can't do this alone. Sometimes you're so far buried in that you need someone to kind of dig in the hands and help you remove the dirt to add some breath to those seeds that's been germinating. They're germinating, they're still there. It's always been the part of you, but sometimes it's difficult to dig yourself out by yourself, especially when our lived experiences are such that we begin to operate from our trauma instead of our truth. And so that's the challenge.
And I thank you for saying that part, operating from our trauma rather than our truth. Because I posted just yesterday, who would you be without your story of struggle, pain, strife? Like literally, who would you be without that? Because sometimes we embody or we cocoon ourselves with our story to the point that now we don't even know who we are without that cocooning, or without that comforting mucus around us.
Was you listening to my live the other night when I started talking about the difference between comfort and confidence? And so it's not,
no, I didn't.
That's how we aligned. We are. This is my people, right? People close to me, y'all. What you're not gonna do with twins is play with this one. Gonna have to see me.
But now I need to get on that live. Comfort and confidence.
I did. And here's the key thing, is that here's what confidence means. It means firm trust. Firm trust. And of course, because I wouldn't be the diva that I am if I didn't have an acronym for trust. And trust is truth resonating under situations of trauma. Is that not trust? Meaning life and things been happening. And I trust that this will go the way it's supposed to be. And that's what gives us confidence, which means firm trust. The word firm is what I begin to compare with the construct of comfort. We think about things that are comfortable, it's soft. And often we've got so comfortable that we've gotten soft, that we've allowed and invited things to erode our confidence because our comfort zone has become our kill zone. And that we did not want to step into that space in order to lead ourselves in that boldness, right? And so we have operated as a mediocre, bastardized version of ourselves because it was comfortable. And then we called in question our confidence because we didn't have firm trust that even though we've been through some shit, that we were still good.
Okay. So you gonna say all that? Okay, I'm still on the bastardization of ourselves. Like I am a couple sentences still catching up. Like, wait, what? And because then I was thinking about, because then I started thinking about trust. I was like, because you have trust, like I have trust in this chair. So no matter what adversities, experiences I've had just today that maybe not have felt good, I still had trust in this chair. But did I have that level of trust in my acumen? Did I have that level of trust in my decision? Did I have that level of trust in my being to make the right choices, to care for myself?
Okay, let me pause this for you. I'm gonna pause you in the word choice because I want to clarify this. So go ahead and get y'all spiritual edges.
Please.
Get the grease for the edges, because it's gonna get some people right here. Because it got me the first time that I had to break that down. There's a difference between choices and decision making. Choices allow us to stay in a comfort zone. It's when we make the decision, when we cut off and we decide. And so we will stand in a sea of choices, flitting from here to here to here to here to here, because they're not firm. It's comfort. But when we make a decision, no matter what it is, we decide, and we stand in that. Because decisions, when we decide, we cut off all other options and we commit. In order
So when
to,
you make a choice, you still
you
have the
choices.
option to choose something else,
Else,
or
yes,
even the thing you did not choose.
yes,
But when
yes,
you decide,
yes.
oh,
You see? And so we have been using the
oh.
words interchangeably. Well, I didn't have no other choice. Yes, you did. You had a choice to make a decision and you opted out. And so we will stand in our choices because it allows us to kind of stand there, but we refuse to swim with our decision. See, swimming is the action. Getting into the water was the choice. You could have stayed outside the pool or get into the pool or never showed up at the pool. You had choices. The decision was the swimming once when you begin to move into the direction of that desired outcome.
Well, damn.
Ain't that something, y'all? This is the kind of conversations I be having with me. Y'all, this is so that's why people be like, well, oh, damn. And it's me beginning to break down and having to understand me because I knew I wanted to be a better leader. And we have this, and I know that you're going to literally resonate with this. I know it, like I know that I am devastating and Black, is that when I became Xavier's mom, that's my son, I say, girl, you gonna have to get your shit together. Because what you not gonna do with twins is give him unnecessary trauma. I didn't say I didn't traumatize him somewhere because but I'm saying it required me to not allow my ego to get in the way of my excellence. And I made a decision that I require and I desired. I made a decision. I decided that I wanted relationship than over being right. And so now when I made that decision, when I'm faced with different choices of how I can move, how I can act, how I can respond, I anchor myself back on what my initial decision was. The commitment I made was relationship over being right.
And I, as a father as of today, a 17-year-old human, I also made that decision. I made a conscious, and that decision had other connected decisions. So like I made the decision never to whoop, beat, spank my child. And that's the decision that I made because I don't want him to be 30, 40 years old watching a TV movie scene and feeling the need to cry because of once upon a time, his father hurt him in a way that no other human on earth has hurt him. Because that's literally what happens to me when I watch certain things. I'm remembering times when, fact of the matter is, even in my 39-year-old mind, little Asa didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. Little Asa did not deserve that. And so when you talk about being committed to being an excellent rather than engaging in your ego, I am completely understanding and it resonating. And I definitely align with it. I believe in it. It is true for me on a molecular level.
Mm-hmm. And even in the word commit, right? I love, y'all haven't picked this up yet. Y'all better pick up what I'm putting down because I love words because that's where the answers are sitting inside of the words. So when you look in the word commit, the word omit is there. We make a commitment, you omit any behaviors, persons, places, perspectives that get in the way of you realizing your commitment. Omit, you let it go. And that's
what?
Right, write down the word commit. If you out there in these interweb streets, write down the word commit. You might have like 2 M's there, but don't you see the word omit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you omit behaviors. You omit perspectives. People, places, perspectives, even your own trifling ones where you question yourself and self-doubting yourself. You commit that's where the decision, that's where they're married. And like I said, oh, this didn't happen the way that I thought it was going to happen, but I'm committed. So I know, because I decided, I know, I trust, I have confidence, firm trust, truth resonating under situations of trauma, that this gonna be good. It all goes together.
I didn't even bring you on for this.
I know.
It is not the purpose. So, and this ain't one of those whole things where now I'm mad at Dr. Deena because she can't stick to the script. No, there was no script. There was actually no script. I knew that Dr. Deena made a difference for me. She supported me in being a partner in the Icon Bootcamp, and that's why I brought her on. We were going to talk about that, and it was so very loose. It was very loose. There were no points to be made. Nothing. Like, we just came on like, hey, how you doing? And she is pulling a me on me.
This is who I am. And so, and it ties into the Iconic Bootcamp and what you're bringing together. And even in the early conversation and the work that I actually do and really getting the why to our why, and for some, those feelings of imposterism and moving from imposter to icon is having clarity about knowing who you are. And that's my work. I actually have a program that'll launch soon called Imposter to Icon.
Imposter to Icon.
Right.
If that ain't me summed up in 3 words, amen.
That's why I said, you don't understand, there's so much synergy and there's so much alignment that is there. And one last point, and then we'll get to all the other things, but I feel led to share this because this came up. People are always asking, what is my purpose? I don't know my purpose. And I get that a lot, whether they're leaders. And I'm telling you, I work a lot with as a strategic executive advisor. And so I'm talking about senior leaders running Fortune 100, 500 companies, as well as entrepreneurs running 7, 8-figure businesses, and some running 5-figure businesses, and having these conversations. And so it's the same thing that began to resonate. They're like, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm still trying to figure out my purpose. And I had the major download in the work that I do and the understanding and discernment that I have. And the last, just a couple nights ago, this is all like right now, it's just been downloading right now, is that you are the purpose. When people say, I don't know my purpose, you don't know you. That's what you're saying. You have no idea on who you are in this season, and you don't know and understand the shift in your atmosphere. And so when you say, I don't know my purpose, baby, you are the purpose. And so when you say that and you're lost and you're dazed and confused, what you're saying is that I don't have clarity around my I am story. I lack confidence and firm trust because I have been sitting in the comforts of life and the oxidations of everything that's existed. And I need to get polished and shined up so the authenticity of me can truly shine through. And then the confidence of me, that firm trust that I have, knowing that I've been through some shit, but baby, check me out and watch me work. Okay, I'm done.
So I should have brought my fan.
I'm done. Okay, I'm done. All right, y'all, I'm done now. For real, I'm for real. Okay, let's go on.
You said you have a program called Imposter to Icon?
The one that's going to be launching. Yes, I haven't opened it up yet. Okay, I'm gonna call out Asa for a minute, right? So when he started telling me, and before we fell in love, y'all, this is before we fell in love, like before we fell in love, and he didn't know all this deliciousness, and Diva stands for in vivid audacity. He didn't know all that. And I reached out to him. I said, oh my goodness, you have this Icon Bootcamp. We got to talk. I said, because I'm putting together an actual program. It's called Imposter to Icon, because my book next year comes out. It's called Walking Through Glass.
And y'all, she told me about that book. Ooh.
Imposter Syndrome Decoded, the neuroscience behind your feelings of imposterism. So there is a reason to this. And I'm so glad you used the example about why you don't spank your son. That we don't have clarity because we haven't really made peace and have clarity about who we've been through and who we've been. And so we suppress that. And so it impedes on who we become. And so we do have to unbecome some things to really begin to flip that to become and to walk into this next season and to this next shift of our life. And we struggle with that. And I say we, because we all do. I got to this point and I started doing this work because I had to work. I had to figure me out. I was like, something ain't right. You got divorced twice. This and this is going on. This situation's happened. Life has been lifing. And I was like, what you're not going to do with two ends is not be the best version of yourself. What are you going to do about it? And I realized it was a system that I use. I have a whole complete framework called the shift theory of aligned movement. And when I started doing that work, and then I started tying it into my work and my research on imposter syndrome, and I realized that often it's not imposter syndrome the way that it has been shared by Clance and Imes from 1977, 78, is that it doesn't take into impact the intersectionality of race, class, and trauma. And so what comes up where you feel like you can or you can't, or you fit or you don't fit, are those stored memories and experiences in your amygdala, which sits back here. And when you're triggered, it comes up. And that's when you begin to make decisions and take on actions out of your trauma instead of your truth of your right now moment. Okay, I'm really done this time, y'all.
I thank you for saying that, because I'm actually in the process of reading my mother's dissertation, and she's in seminary. And so she's talking about and in educating me on the difference between feminism theology and womanism theology. And you talk about that, that trauma that comes from having a melanated experience and those things. Yeah, I mean, I completely get it. And maybe I needed to read that in order to understand you.
Yes.
But you are, I get it. I completely agree, and I get it. And thank you for being someone who has decided to create excellence for this particular group of humans that are melanated, that are female, that are woman, that are feminine. Thank you for doing that. And I say thank you because we had the talk, which I would love for you to tell everyone about, the International Black Women's Herstory Day. And the exclusive Melanin Talk White Linen Experience during Essence Fest and all those things. So please, because you are that person. You are someone, let me say this. One of the things that I have written down and believe and know that when I am able to create a certain level of money for myself, I will be having a lot of experiences around thought leaders that I respect. And when I say thought leaders, I don't mean people who call themselves that. I mean Michael Eric Dyson, Cornel West.
I had a crush on that Cornel West.
His brain. If you are a sapiosexual on any level and do not get in any way turned on by Michael Eric Dyson or Cornel West or both of them in tandem, like, I don't understand. And I'm not attracted to either of them on a physical, but if I close my eyes and let them talk to me, I'm like, so you need rent, you need light bill, like what you need.
Yes. And it's that other part. And so that stimulates the other pieces. And like I was sharing with you before we went live, y'all, we had a real juicy conversation before we live. It was like, we gotta go live. Is that what started as an idea and a connectivity to my event, Melanin Talks, which happens the third Saturday of every March. And this year it's happening in New Orleans, March 25th. So this coming up Saturday. So if you're in New Orleans, definitely love for you to check it out. And so I said, our stories are so powerful and impactful, but Black women, particularly. And everybody's like, what about y'all guys? We'll get to y'all later. But right now I'm talking to Black women, y'all. I'm not even apologizing for it. I am, because we are muted and we often mute ourselves. And we tell versions of our story that's not necessarily anchored in the truth because we're still always trying to protect. And so I created a space for our stories, our truth, uncensored, the way that we want to tell it, the way that we want to see it, hear it. And I thought about the bigger aspect of that when I had the vision of Melanin Talks. And I said, we need our day. Women's History Month is that. However, the Black woman's experience still gets subjugated even in that. And I said, we need our own day. So I was sitting here, had a brain moment. I said, I'm going to do a proclamation and make March 25th International Black Women's History Day. I was sitting here, probably working in the middle of the night. Probably was just got to text with Asa or something. I don't know. But I was there. And so then I was like, what do I have to do to get a proclamation in New Orleans? So I looked it up and started checking some things out. Here's what I want to tell you about. Always open your mouth. Y'all, open your mouth and you better tell people what you want, desire, and what you need. I don't care if it's in the line at Walmart. Okay. So I said, okay, I want to do that. I put it in my back pocket. Like, I'm going to look into that because I'm new to New Orleans. And I was thinking a proclamation, city, we can do the roll up. I happened to go to a Mardi Gras party and I sat on the couch with this amazing woman, Michelle Miller, for 5 minutes before she left. And she was like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I said, great. I said, I got an event coming up. I said, I want to do a proclamation. I was excited. I'm excited about this proclamation. And she said, okay, I can help you with that. And she said, so reach out to me after Mardi Gras. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking, I just met this woman. She talking. She let me get your information. I said, okay. Baby. Baby. When you're committed, you decide, you bring the whole universal God-like energy to you to make it happen. We moved past Mardi Gras and I was like, is it too soon? Do I call her? She reached out to me and said, okay, remember that proclamation you wanted? What do you want it to say? I got to put it in for the city hall. I got to put it in for the mayor and so on and so forth. I'm like, okay, great. She did the things, y'all. Then she reached back out to me and said, you know what? I know you didn't ask and I had to clear it with you first, but I went ahead and asked the state representative from Louisiana, Candace Newell, if she would do a resolution. So she's coming down to the event on March 25th and is bringing a resolution from the state representative, city hall, the mayor. And so then I said, okay. And then I started talking to my other great thinker, who's also going to be a speaker there, Hannah Jones. And I said, you know, this is bigger than me. As I started talking about it, women's like, yes, we need this. Yes, we need this. And I said, why isn't this a permanent day? She said, okay, here's what we're getting ready to do. We're going to send a proclamation to the White House. And we're going to campaign and make this an annual embedded. If you could have National Cupcake Feed Your Dog a Biscuit Day, we can have an International Black Women's History Day on the books. And I was sharing with you what was so powerful and important about this show. I get super excited about really how us telling our stories and finally speaking what's in the core and the soul of us, because our testimony is the answer key for somebody else's test in life. And I said, okay, God, why March 25th? I could make it any other day. And I said, there has to be something for me to pick that day in this year. And so I started looking at that. Y'all, let me drop some why March 25th is important. Found out it's International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. Found out it's the 4th day ending Martin Luther King's march. Found out that it was initially used to be the first day of the new year in the Gregorian calendar. I was like, it's the why. Because what Black women birth out of the womb of their genius is something that impacts the world.
The world.
And it is our day. It is our day. International Black Women's History Day is March 25th. Is March 25th. Y'all need to I'll come back later and drop that frame inside the chat, and you can go get your chat. And the instructions are, this is your moment to tell and to speak your story, uncensored. Every single person has a story and it deserves to be heard. But on this day, Black women in solidarity around the world, we are really going to not only activate, we're going to elevate and amplify our voice, because it's our individual stories that add collective impact. Okay, I'm done. And so,
but we don't need you to be done. We need all the things.
I get really excited about this. I get so excited about this. And it's, I think about, I've done a TED Talk. I speak on stages. I'm a paid keynote. People pay me, to speak. And each time for them, it makes it more comfortable to have a DR dot in the front or a PhD at the back. I'll be like, I was brilliant at birth, y'all. That was for y'all. That wasn't me, because I knew who I am. I know who I am, right? And I realized that, though, in each of those dynamics, whether I'm presenting at a national conference or I'm speaking on like a global platform. And when I say global, I really truly mean global, Google me, is that I noticed that I always had that moment where I go, okay, can I truly speak the expansiveness of me and my gift? Or do I always have to temper myself for someone else to digest me? So even though I'm serving Kobe filet mignon, I still have to bite it and put it in like stir-fried tidbits so they can digest it. And that sits with me. And I said, you know, why can't we just speak? And if we throw a shoe across the room, we throw a shoe. And not be shamed and being less professional or less intelligent or less dynamic or less powerful. And I said, okay, we need that. And God said, yes, that's what you came here to do. So do that. Do that. Hence, Melanin Talks was born. And it's an annual event right now, the third Saturday of March every year. And this year, we set the inaugural date of March 25th as International Black Women's History Day. And every Black woman across the globe identified by, if you got 5%, baby, you Black.
According to the one drop rule.
Go on the one drop rule, you Black. And our allies, who do you know? He was like, well, I'm not, who do you know? Let us have this moment. Let us have this day. Actually, let me take that back. I don't even want to use those words. You don't need to let me and then because I'm taking. What I'm saying to you is, if you truly want to support, share it. Invite it. You said you got 5 Black friends, invite them.
Right.
Let them know what's going on. Yes.
So I am still on, I keep telling you, every time you talk, I'm still on something that you saw. So right now, my mind is still savoring the, can you articulate the expansiveness of who you be? And in those times when you feel like you, not just you made it up, no, you can literally feel that you cannot articulate the expansiveness of who you are and who you be. Are you talking to the right person? Are you talking to the right community? Are you in the right space? Are you in bed with the right person? I have had many times when I have not been able to articulate the expansiveness of me after giving the totality of my physical being. Those are two different things.
They are. And
just because you can take this, don't mean you can take all of this.
No, right. And so what we do is, because we read energy, we have that spirit of discernment, we know just how much. And I understand sometimes people may not be ready for all of it. And so that's a judgment call, right? It's not a slight on them. What I embrace and what hits me at my core is, especially when I mute myself, not others muting me, when I mute myself based upon the trauma triggers of the times when I did not have control of the dynamic and I was impacted by the experience. And so when someone said, your brain's always listening, everybody, your brain's always listening. I call your amygdala your crypt keeper. So even if you thought I didn't hear it, yes, you do. That's why my mom used to say, don't sleep with the TV on. Don't do something like that, because it's still going in. Trust me, I'm telling you. Be cautious what you say. It's so powerful what you say to your children, etc. And the part that used to get me is the fact that, as bold and confident as I am, I do have firm trust, and we talked about that. It doesn't mean there won't be situations of consciousness where I have concern about my well-being, because that's also a truth. Because of the historical dynamic, is that my life depended on my job and the way I can feed my family. Because I said I made a commitment, relationship over being right. And so if I can't feed my child, I can't pay my bills because I had to prove a point. And so I had to come to terms with what I learned and what I heard growing up. And this is where we talk about that whole feelings of imposterism sometimes, is that, oh, well, she being fake. No, I'm being strategic. I realize I'm using discernment Do I want to live or prove a point? See, we got choices. That's what I meant. We got choices. People say, I didn't have a choice. I had a gun to my head. Yes, you did.
You had a choice.
Said no, and they shot you. It was a choice. You see? So I think all that comes in place, and we judge ourselves. And people say, the greatest weight that you can lift off of you is the weight of other people's opinions. And I'll say, no, my friend, it's not. I said the greatest weight that you can lift off you is your own discorn you have for yourself, because you've judged your actions based on a decision that you made at a time when that was the decision you needed to make based on the commitments that you have and the relationships that you need.
And the information that you had at the moment.
And the information at the moment. It's the scorn we have for ourselves.
Yeah.
Is the greatest weight we have to take off. Because what we say to us has a greater neurological impact than anybody else. So why would the weight of somebody else's opinion be something? Even that is part of the programming, right? And we just keep saying it, part of our doctrine, we just say it. And then we ignore the fact that we are sitting here judging ourselves, but no one's talking about that. You told you couldn't do it.
Right.
Who tell you to shut up, get yourself right. And so we want to always say it's because of them. No, baby, it's because of you. It will always be you. Put a full length mirror, not a compact, up to you. Yeah. And go ahead and check your whole self. Okay. And got to don't get me to start talking about, yo, that's my, what you gonna do is get your shift together, because what we not gonna do with two ends is keep lying to ourselves. We keep lying to ourselves because we think that it's going to absolve us of the guilt that we have for being ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I will say simply yes.
Okay. We just did a whole master class. Can you put your tithes and offerings? Put it down.
Tithes and offerings.
Offerings in the chat, because we done just gave it all to you. All of it.
So if you all wonder, because I've often said in person and on the phone or on social media that I usually don't talk to people because I find out that they have nothing to say. So with Dr. Deena, there's always something to say. There's always something to ponder, always something to consider, always something to understand deeper, always something even just to mentally let glide over. Just let it glide over the waves in your brain. Before, you don't even have to let it settle. Just allow it to just enumerate within the waves of your brain, within the folds and the membranes of your cranium, because she offers a very intelligent level of information that she provides to me and to others. I've said to her, and I'm going to say to you, if you ever have the ability to work with her individually, I'll tell you what she did for me. So she was able, and I hope I'm able to say this correctly, but if not, it's okay. She was able to clarify the confusion in my cranium in a way that did not destroy the person that had the thought.
That's good. I like that.
My being was not negatively affected by her restructuring of my thoughts. Like the Hippocratic Oath, like do no harm type of a thing. Like she was able to find the cancer without killing the body or killing the host. Most of us know that in cancer with chemotherapy, a lot of times when you're trying to kill the thing that's killing you, you are literally deteriorating the host, the body, everything falls. And she was able to get laser focused on the thing that was not serving me while still serving me. And that was a glorious experience to have, because I am in the process of having more experiences like that. Though it has not been my history, it will definitely be my destiny and my future experience. And so it was nice for her to be the catalyst of my new normal, being able to have more of those times when someone gets to meet me on an intellectual level and surprise and delight me with their word usage while also impacting the inner parts of me that I am not always aware of. That is what Dr. Deena can do. And I am not someone, I'm not a conference junkie. I'm not a coach junkie. I'm not a mastermind junkie. I mean, I just joined my first mastermind and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 22 and I'll be 40 soon. So that's not what I do. I'm not a guru junkie, so I'm not always trying to follow the person that, has 1 million followers on social media. It takes a lot for me to be like, oh my God, you're dope. Not that anyone needs that from me. I am not the purveyor of excellence and I don't deem people excellent. That's not what I do. However, if you want me to, it takes a while for that to happen. And she was able to do that effortlessly. So thank you for showing up as magical and delightful and resourceful and learned and enough. Because you could have shown up and you operating in your not enoughness, so therefore overthinking, over talking, just overdoing it when you don't need to. Thank you for that. And please tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, and even on Facebook at Dr. Deena Speaks, DrDeena Speaks. And again, if you are interested in like learning more or even having a conversation, I do not do complimentary pick my brain sessions. No, because I literally drop IP and genius on first contact. But you can reach out
on first contact.
On first contact. And you can go to drdeenabrown.com, DrDeenaBrown.com. And there is an opportunity there to have like a 10-minute call just to ask a general question about whether or not we may be a fit to work. And I have very limited ways in which I do actually work with individuals, and that's usually a VIP strategy session, and this stands for Vision, Insight, and Productivity session. And so we do that as a 90-minute session, a half day, and then a full day to really get all your shift together. And so, like I said, I'm really excited. I absolutely adore Asa, like his genius. I love that, and he's like, 39 going on 40. I'm 29 plus tax and gratuity. So, we're a little close in age, but in all of my nearly 51 years is that I had not met just such an extraordinary being with a level of conscious genius, with such an amazing heart of service and purpose before. And I've been following him for years. And so when he tried to fall off the wagon, I had to snatch his butt back up and say, you better remember in 2018 when you did this, and better remember who you are. What you're not gonna do on my watch is not be all the everything that you already are.
And so, she did that too. But she did it. And I didn't. Okay, let me be very clear. I have been on social media for years, and I'm meaning years. I have if you want to see what I've been through, just keep going back. Wiping the timeline, you will see everything I've been through. And I didn't realize that she had been there so long. Like, she was bringing stuff back to me. I'm like, wait, how do you know I did that? But I will say this. There are moments in time when you're going to need somebody to remember when you don't remember.
Yes, that part.
I needed her to remember because I could not remember. I could not remember anything I had done prior to that particular day. if you are listening to this or watching this, and you somehow believe, consider, or have pondered that somehow I sit around and think about the books that I've written, the events that I've created, the stages I've spoken on nationally or internationally, virtually or in person, I'm here to tell you, you are so wrong. I don't think about none of that shit. I don't think about none of that shit. Ever, 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 ever. Okay, there's a place in Oklahoma City that I go to on the east side called Ice. If I see somebody at Ice and they're like, bro, you doing good. Like, I see you out there killing. I'm like, what have you seen? I didn't do anything today. They're like, no, but I saw this. I'm like, but that was 2 weeks ago. That's how I'm not thinking about anything. Once it's done, it's done. It's fucking done. So to have someone like Dr. Deena in your life who will remember you for you is a divine assignment.
I like that. That's beautiful.
And I mean that. That's a divine, because I don't remember me like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could create an hour out of a month.
We want to put us for innovation only. You are who you are, because that's what gives you the genius to create things like the Icon Bootcamp, and for be able to create the blueprints for that, to be able to not take everything where you were and really, really maximize where you are to help you build to where you want to go. So that's why that is part of your purpose. You are the purpose. So no.
True. You are the purpose. And yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you are the purpose. So that's the collectivity of it all. That's the connectivity and the collectivity of it all. Is that, and here's the beauty, I do this, but I know I'm not the only one. And so for those of you saying, well, I don't have a Dr. Deena, yet, that's fine. But what you can do is actually create your own memory book. We used to do that. And so go ahead and remember, you write down and so you can remind yourself of great things, and people send you notes and people send you messages. And even if you want to do it digitally, but I would say make it a hard copy, because sometimes when the tears are wandering and the lights go out, you just kind of want to sit with that book and that touchable thing in your hand, that tactile your hand. And even now, I was a K-12 principal for a number of years and an educator, and I was cleaning out boxes, and I found cards from students that said, this is what you meant to me. At times I've said for myself, y'all, again, I'm as real as it come. And I was like, I haven't done anything with my life. I was a 2012 blue ribbon principal. I was one of the youngest principals, even our division, and the first one in our area to get a blue ribbon. If you ever know what a blue ribbon actually is for academic excellence in the school and resources and building community. And I'm still walking around. I was in the DIA selected for strategic leadership, the school strategic leadership, one of a very small number to be able to do that. So again, all of the things, some days I said and go, I haven't done anything yet. I haven't done anything with my life. And when people ask me where I've been and what I've done, that, the one thing that anchors me, this might not be your anchor, but y'all, this is mine. And so find your anchor, find your solid, and I don't mean something imaginary, find a solid, physical, touchable anchor, okay, visual or not. So what I decided to, when I get into those moments, because they do come, because we're human, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. When I look at my son Xavier, I know I am all things phenomenal, because we can only create things we are, because we teach what we know, but we create what we are. When I look at him, and
say that again.
Phenomenal. And so when I'm questioning, am I good? I look at him and how he's not perfect, but he's purposefully mine. And we teach what we know. We can only create who we are. And so if my son is phenomenal, people from around the world, not even just me, speak to the magnitude of his gentle genius, they are speaking into my I am simultaneously. So when I start feeling some kind of way, I go grab these pictures, I go look at him, or I just might call him for nothing. So get an anchor, whatever that is. If that's a piece of chocolate, if that's whatever it is, identify it and hold it near. Sometimes that might be my angel quartz crystal. It might be a crystal. Get that anchor to bring you back when you start floating outside of yourself. Okay.
That was so good. I'll probably say that to myself to sleep tonight. Like, we teach what we know, but we create from who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just, if you are a creator like I am, and you just create, and follow through and implement, like, that's the other part. But you are able to do that. Like, that's why you get dope ideas, because you're dope.
Mm-hmm.
So you get amazing ideas because you're amazing.
Absolutely.
Oh, I need to hear that.
Absolutely. So think about it. Icon. Okay, where you think, if you wasn't, that's why I said what you're not going to do on my watch is we're not doing it. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, and I'm going to say it, and he didn't tell me to say it, and I don't care if he get mad because I do say it. Ask me how many TEDs I give. You better jump on whatever Ace is offering right now, because if he keeps playing around with me, them damn prices about to triple, because you don't understand how I be like pushing the envelope. So I'm gonna say it, because
okay. I gotta admit, I'm like this, and if you're watching this, it probably means that we've talked and had some type of conversation. And I'm usually the person in everybody else's life, like, that's too cheap. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what that needs to be better. She is that to me, and it is uncomfortable and necessary for someone to look at me and be like, Asa, I know you not think you about to, you think you'll get that program for $1,000? And I'm like, well, it took me 3 months to even get past 500. And you want me to do more than 1,000? And she's like, yeah, because you're dope. And I know what you can do. And you've done this, and this, and this. So because you've done that, this has to be more. And I'm just like, I'll get that.
Yo, we be fighting. He said it nice, but we be fighting. But I learned my machinations, and I won't tell y'all like my trickeration trick is that usually I'll go like triple just to get him back to like the double. Because he be like, okay, well, we gonna agree, compromise here. And that's where I knew he was gonna go. So I went way over the top. So he would just stretch it to a little bit of here, because that might have been too far. And that's when we have people in our lives that stretch us. And have people who will stand there in arms, and we will cry together, but you still gonna change that price. What you still gonna do is change it, but we gonna cry it out. We gonna thug it out together, and then we kind of go through work and then say, give yourself grace for where you are. Right. And then we build the roadmap and the strategy to where you desire to be, because every leap begins with one step. Every leap begins with one step.
Right.
And so that's what really is part of it. And that's why I love, because I know if he calls me, I know what he wants. He might not say, I already know what he wants, because he know what I'm gonna do. Else he wouldn't call me. And if he don't call me, he got me in his inbox going, hello, I saw that. If he don't call, I still be like, hello, sir. I did see that. Was you just thinking I wasn't gonna pay attention? So, and I say that in all love, is that we do need to have people in our life that will not allow our comfort zone to be our kill zone. And when I say kill zone, to kill our joy, our ingenuity, even our expansiveness, even when we are the person getting in the way. Yeah. So
Dr. Deena, thank you.
Yes.
We have been on.
Hey, yo, we had like a 30-minute like session. And I was like, had all kinds of little dates planned and everything, was gonna put some lipstick on.
So this went way longer. It went way longer than it was supposed to be. Luckily, I'm not late for anything as a result of this. It was necessary, it was needed. So thank you for showing up. This has meant a great deal to me. Please go find Dr. Deena.
I'll drop my information and the stuff in the chat. I'm gonna come back to the live. I'll make sure I'll drop it in there as well.
Please go find her, even if you can just just be in the proximity of her genius. Just the proximity will support you. I promise. I promise. Just the proximity alone will make you wonder, like, oh my God. Yeah, just the proximity. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go because we could be a whole nother hour, and that's not what we intend to
I'm
do.
like,
But as always, thank you so much, Dr. Deena. Thank you all for being in a place. Please go register for www.iconbootcamp.co. That's iconbootcamp.co. Love to make a difference for you there. As always, Asa Leveaux, dreams and radical blessings.